Hello everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new and welcome back if you're returning. My name is Danielle and today I'm really excited to kick off my series on adversity. Initially when I was thinking about this and preparing for this series, I thought about just doing a one-off video talking about adversity, what it teaches us, what we can learn from it, what it does in us, because we all know there's lots of books that have been written on that subject, lots of videos we can watch. I think they're all really great. I think it is really important and we are going to talk about that. But one thing that I didn't see when I was researching this and thinking about it and really looking at the resources that are out there, I really didn't see a lot that talked about what do you do when adversity hits you. When you're first hit with adversity, how are you supposed to react? What are you supposed to think? How soon are you expected to look for the silver lining, look at what you're learning, build your character through adversity? And that's what I really want to talk to you about today. I want to really talk about my own life experiences that I've had with adversity. We are going to dive a little bit deeper next week in talking about a little bit more life experiences that I've had with adversity through my life. Today I want to just share my most recent experiences with adversity with you and just talk about my feelings about it. Now you guys know that I'm not a medical professional, you know that I'm not a counselor. I'm just here to share with you my own life experiences and talk to you about what I learned through dealing with my own challenges. So take from it what you want, leave what you don't want. Hopefully it helps you, hopefully it does inspire and encourage you. And if you do find that to be the case, I'd love it if you take a minute and hit that subscribe button down below. As you can see, I am filming outside. If you watched my Instagram live video this morning, I did talk about the fact that I was maybe going to try and do that. We are in the midst of autumn where I live. I live in the United States in the Midwest, and it is a chilly day today. It's crisp, it's cool, but it is pretty. It is sunny, and I really thought I want to get out and enjoy the sunshine. I don't know how much more sunny days like this we're going to have. It is supposed to rain today, but I'm taking advantage of the fact that the weather is nice right now, and I want to be out because when we are struggling or going through adversity or challenges, sometimes you have to grab tight and hold on to whatever bits of sunshine you can find, whatever bits of joy you can find amidst the adversity that you're going through. And so I wanted to kind of change it up and come outside and talk to you outside today. So let's talk about adversity. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, and especially if you've watched my last couple videos, you kind of know the theme that's been in my last couple videos. And if you know me personally, you know that I've been struggling lately. So if you watched my last video, then you know I talked about the fact that this last month or so has been the most challenging time that I've gone through since the pandemic began. Now, I'm filming this in November of 2020 when we are coming to the tail end of 2020 and facing one of the most challenging times that the world has gone through with dealing with the pandemic. And I do find also that this video is kind of timely because we are coming up on the holidays, and I really do feel like this coming holiday season will bring a lot of stress and a lot of stressors that many people haven't dealt with before. A lot of people that might have found the holidays to be a really happy time that they looked forward to might be struggling this year because we're dealing with a lot more adversity and a lot more stressors than we're used to because of everything going on in the world. People aren't able to travel the way they're used to or the way they want. People have been dealing with illness, with death, with financial hardship, lots of things going on in the world that have really been magnified and come to a head this year. Now, I said this in a recent video when I talked about finding support or encouragement in unlikely places or from unlikely sources, when I shared that when I'm sharing my challenges and my adversity with you, I'm by no means minimalizing or taking away from other people that are going through much more challenging things right now or struggling much more than I am. I'm just sharing my experience with you, so I do want to just say that. Adversity typically, in my experience in my personal life, brings with it multiple challenges that kind of tend to pile on top of each other, and they come at you at a relatively quick pace. And that's the difference between dealing with the challenge that you have in your life and handling adversity, and that's what makes it so hard sometimes. Speaking of adversity, when I was filming this outside, I do film on my phone, and my phone let me know that my storage was full and I couldn't film anymore till I cleaned out some of my storage. I tried to do that a couple different times, but apparently it wasn't enough. And then when I finally got it cleaned out, my phone died. On top of that, the weather changed relatively quickly and it became really windy and very, very cold. It got to a point where I couldn't feel my hands, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna pack it up. I need to charge my phone and I need to warm up a little bit. So I plugged my phone in the car, went and got a coffee, and we're just gonna finish this up in the car because I don't wanna lose my train of thought. So let's get back to what I was talking about the adversity that I've been facing within the last 3 to 4 weeks or so in my life. Like I said, this has been the most challenging time for me in this pandemic in the last month or so. It started with me getting really, really sick, probably almost a month ago now, and I was so sick that I was bedridden for a week. I couldn't get out of bed. I was suffering horrible headaches. I had body aches. I felt super fatigued. I just felt terrible. I did get tested for COVID at that time, and my test did come back negative, but I did in addition go to the doctor because I felt so horrible, and I am prone to bronchitis, and I thought, well, maybe that's going on. They did x-rays and they did a strep test. Everything came back negative, but my doctor did still treat me proactively and gave me some medication, and she said, if this doesn't help you start feeling better right away, then get tested for COVID again, because maybe you tested for COVID too early. So I did start feeling better almost right away within the next couple days. So I was really excited about that. I thought, okay, well, finally I'm getting over being sick and we're done with this and I can resume my normal life, go back to work, all of that. But then my husband got really sick, and he is a high risk person for COVID, so he got really, really sick. He did get COVID tested, and his test came back positive. So that was a real blow, because now I have to quarantine with my husband, so can't go back to work, can't have the kids. We found out that he tested positive literally hours before I was supposed to pick up the boys for the entire week and the weekend, and I had to contact their dad and tell him that we couldn't have the boys and tell him what was going on. So that was really discouraging, but I was still feeling low energy, and I thought, well, okay, well, I'm going to try and accomplish some things and get some things done, but that wasn't really super possible because Dan was sleeping on the couch right in front of where I typically record. He really needed it quiet. He really needed no movement, no sound, and so I was really trying to be respectful of that because he was so sick, so I didn't record for about a week, and I started feeling not very good, but still not as horrible as I felt initially in the first week. So I went and got COVID tested just because Dan had been sick, and I thought, well, I better just get tested just in case. Well, the test came back positive, and I think for me that was really my last straw. Now, during this time when all of this was going on, I was hit with a real personal challenge that just threw me for a loop, knocked me off my feet, but I was trying to deal with this personal challenge that I had while I was taking care of Dan, and then continuing on after I tested positive for COVID, and it really became overwhelming. It became a lot, and I will tell you the truth, I became really depressed. It was depressing. I was crying a lot. I felt very overwhelmed, and I just really was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, because like I said, I do feel like a lot of times in the face of adversity, it's either one really challenging big thing that you're dealing with that's kind of ongoing, or it could be a lot of things that aren't super challenging, but they all kind of add up and they all pile on. And mine was the latter this last month. All my circumstances just kind of piled one on top of the other. And when my test came back for being positive with COVID, I was so upset about that for so many reasons. One, I couldn't go back to work. I had really been suffering financially because of the lack of work that I've had in the last month. Number two, a really big reason for me, and part of the reason that I was so depressed, was I couldn't see my kids. And my older son had emailed me and said, Mom, let me come over. It's okay that you're sick. We'll take care of you. We don't care. We'll be fine. The boys never got COVID. They never got sick, thankfully. But I don't know if he really understood that I really could not have him in the house with COVID being rampant in our household. And he emailed me back and said, I feel like you don't want me there. I feel like you don't want me around you. And it just broke my heart. And I remember just crying because I felt devastated that my son felt like I didn't want him. You know, and I had to explain, and then he said, I understand, Mom. But it was just really a heartbreaking time, and it was really hard. And so when we look at when we're in the throes of dealing with adversity, whether it is a medical situation, being sick, financial devastation, whatever it is, number one, can you even think clearly? Not really. I mean, when you're sick, when you're stressed out, do you have a clear thought pattern? No, you don't. Your body and your mind, I think, kind of goes into flight or fight mode, and you're just trying to survive. I wanted to title this video initially, Adversity Sucks. And that's what I was going to put on my thumbnail. My husband's like, maybe you want to rethink that. I don't know if you want to say sucks, you know, in your title and in the thumbnail, because that's not very positive. But honestly, who's with me? Comment below. Doesn't adversity suck when you're in it, when you're going through it? It sucks. is horrible. And I wasn't that good. I was really depressed. I was crying a lot. I was very upset. When you're first hit with adversity and you feel completely overwhelmed and you're going through situations or a situation that just has you trying to survive from day to day, is it realistic to think about what this is going to teach you? Think about how this is going to grow your character. Think about how this is going to make you a better person in the long term, or what you can learn from adversity. I don't think so. Nobody's thinking about that when they're first hit with adversity. Nobody's thinking about that when they're just trying to survive. Now, that'll come later, and we're going to talk about that next week. But when you first get thrust into adversity and situations that just consume and overwhelm you, in my opinion, there are 3 key things I think you need to be doing during this time when you're first dealing with adversity in order to get through your adversity to the next step. The first step is acceptance. A lot of times when we first get thrust into a really challenging, overwhelming situation and we're confronted with adversity and it smacks us in the face, we don't want to accept it. I remember when I got my COVID test and it was positive, and I kept pressing the button thinking, this isn't right, this is a mistake, no way, I don't have COVID. I didn't feel very good, but I was thinking, no, I want to see my kids, I want to go back to work, no. And I just spent the day in tears, and I'm like, I don't want to believe this isn't true, this can't be right. And I didn't tell anyone when I first found out, probably for about the first 12 hours, because I was in denial. I didn't want it to be so. But you know what? We can't get through our adversity unless we accept that it's happening, and unless we really look at it honestly and look at it for what it is. We can't get the help we need. We can't get the support or the encouragement that we need. We can't move on from it. And so I think a lot of times people have a really hard time accepting what they're going through, and you have to accept it. You have to really look at it. Don't bury your head in the sand. Look at it. Accept it, because you can't deal with it and move through it until you accept it. The second thing that I think is really important in this situation, and I have talked about this on my channel until I'm blue in the face, so it's gonna come as no surprise, but that is self-care. Take the time to take care of yourself. Take the time to love yourself. Know that it's okay. This is a season. This will eventually pass, or if it doesn't pass, I'm going to talk about some situations I have had in my life that are not going to pass. Next week, you're going to learn how to deal with it and how to live with it if that's something that you do have to do in your situation. But love yourself, take care of yourself, nurture yourself. It's so important when we're dealing with adversity to take the time out to do that, because it will really just help us feel better. We have to be willing to give ourselves that emotional hug because we need it at this time. So take that time, and even if you are in the throes of such an adverse situation where you have no time, no resources, you feel like you don't even know how to engage in self-care, take a bath. Take a walk. Make yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and relax with a book. Watch a good movie, call a friend that you rely on, call someone that can support you, which brings me to my third tip, and that is support and encouragement. In a recent video that I did talk about this, and I talked about finding support and encouragement in unlikely places or from unlikely people, and it is so important. You can't get the support and encouragement that you need in a time like this when you are dealing with adversity unless you open up a little and you tell people that you need it and you share that you're struggling. I would really encourage you, if you haven't seen that video, to go ahead and watch that. I will link that video in the description box below so you can watch it after you watch this video if you haven't seen it. But it is really critical during this time when you get hit with adversity and you're trying to make sense of it all and just survive. There's a lot of things that other people can offer you when you're in survival mode that can really help you. Maybe they can bring you meals, maybe they can run errands for you. People have sent me cards or small gifts that really just brighten my day and just let me know I'm loved, I'm cared about, I'm supported. And let's not discount how important that is, because it is really so important. So when you first get hit with adversity, you're in the trenches, you're in survival mode, and you're just trying to navigate the beginnings of your situations. Those are the 3 key things that I think you need to think about, and I really don't think you need to think beyond that right now in this particular moment. That's what you need. And thankfully that's what I did, and that's what really helped me to be able to get past it and move on. And like I said in my other videos a couple weeks ago, I talked about really going through challenging times, but in that video I did not share about COVID being in our household and the fact that I had COVID because I wasn't ready to share that. I didn't want to talk about it because I was still really upset about it. Next week I'm going to delve a little bit deeper and talk more about some of the challenges I've had and some of the adversity that I faced through my life that has been lifelong. And so we're going to delve into that a little bit deeper, and we're going to talk about how you can really use adversity to your advantage and what you can do with adversity. And I want to delve a little bit more into that next week. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you would subscribe. I do aim to motivate, inspire, and encourage you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So if you like that kind of content, that you're going to love it on this channel. Hit the bell so you never miss a video. I do upload videos on a weekly basis, and I'd love it if you'd follow me on Instagram. I do Instagram live streams on Saturday mornings, and I'd love to connect with you on Instagram, and I'd love to have you be a part of that. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being part of my small YouTube family. I will plan to see you in my next video, and as always, remember to make your everyday ordinary life extraordinary.